Okay, so there's a lot of changes coming to the preview server lately, and the forums have been a really good spot on place to find these updates. So we're actually going to hop over to the forums here, and we're going to see that No Worries, one of the developers, he's posted a new discussion about Unbind tokens. And this has been a topic mentioned in the past by players that they would enjoy having things unbound or to have unbound tokens and how much that would change not just the game, but the game's economy. So basically, to read over this forum post, it's pretty short. It says, we will be introducing a new item in the near future called Unbind tokens. Much like their name suggests, they will be used to unbind items. Any item that can be unbound will have a cost of unbind tokens. So we can see this is consistent with companion upgrade tokens, mount upgrade tokens. Now these will be unbind tokens. This will be different from item to item as the value of items varies. We also are rolling this out in a way where items should have or have to be set up to be able to be unbound. So this won't apply to all items in the game. We will add items to the unbind list over time, and so in preparation of this feature, we wanted to hear from you on which items you'd like to see sooner rather than later. Suggestions aren't guaranteed to be added to the list, and some suggestions that are taken may not show up for a little while. Equipped mounts and companions don't work with this system. That isn't a matter of unbinding, but it's that a companion or mount isn't actually one item, it's a pack containing different items, which then get put into a special inventory. That special inventory isn't made to pull things back out of and move them around, and pulling out one piece of the package would cause issues. I wanted to call that out in advance since this has been a request in the past. The current planned rollout is that 10 Unbind tokens cost 100 Zen. An example item that can be unbound is Coalescent Wards for 80 tokens. Let us know your thoughts and suggestions. And this literally just got posted not that long ago. It says 12:56 a.m., but it's only 12:51 a.m., so this must be like an hour ago. It's not coinciding with my time. So anyways, to read some of the things that people have suggested. Thankfully, there's not a lot of posts. I already went through them, but it's just some of the important ones. RNG Rob mentioned, I just hope going forward all loot drops won't be bound to encourage purchasing of these tokens. And he makes a good point. I really hope that they won't be adding more bind to account or bind to character items or changing certain items in their drop or bind status to encourage the use of these tokens. Someone said companion equipment, gears from T2, T3 hunts. I could see that, but then I feel like that kind of takes away from what the devs wanted, that you work for something, you get it. Even though a lot of it is RNG, like I have really bad RNG, so that applies to me. This person mentioned that the Elk tribe weapon transmutes suddenly started dropping as bind to character. Not sure if that's true or false, but I'm gonna assume that's probably true. And then he mentioned that he thought that because the Coal Ward is rare quality, for example, it will be 80 Unbind tokens, then we could assume that epic items would be 120, legendary 150, and mythic 200, following a similar trend to companion upgrade tokens and mount upgrade tokens. And he says, not really sure if I like the sound of this, but I don't think it will work in that way. I think they will probably try to compare the cost of the Zen worth of an item and then try to match the amount of tokens it would take. So 80 Unbind tokens would be 800 Zen. And if we look at the Zen market, Coal Wards are, I think, 1,000 Zen. We come to supplies, Coalescent Ward. Yeah, so it's 1,000 Zen. So it's like 200 Zen less than buying a new one or like a fresh Unbind one with Zen, which kind of adds some purpose to it, but kind of doesn't in a way. I don't know. Like if you get a 20% off coupon, you could just buy a cool ward. Because even with the coupon, you would only get discount on one set of Unbind tokens. So you would only save like 20 Zen instead of like 200 Zen. So yeah, I imagine it's bracketed to be nearly equivalent, but not perfectly equivalent. So I have a feeling prices will be made to match that. How they would do that, I don't know, like when it comes to different items. But I imagine these aren't going to be gated by quality, just because quality doesn't really equate to much else. And then he was saying that you should rectify the annoyance of having two lots of BTA and BTC, bind to account, bind to character, present cool wards, enchantments, and stones, and lots of other items that they will have the same binding status, but they can't be stacked together. He makes a point that is really, really true. There are like two types of each bind status. That's kind of weird, but yeah, I'm going to be that guy. Regents from Hardcore Voss, Weapon Armor Enchantments, Alliance Battlehorn, Event Foods, Enchantments. Event Foods I could see. Event Rewards I could see. Enchantments I could see. Weapon and Armor Enchantments, yes. Regents from Hardcore Voss. This brings me into a discussion that I had with Nova, actually. And we were saying how, like if people can get maybe not the regents maybe, but like if they could get rings from Hardcore Voss, for example, is there really a purpose behind it? Like because then some guy can just come and pay to win his character, have best in slot gear, and just be a total, in Nova's words, a total trash can. Like just a trash player because they don't know how to play. They just know how to spend money and what to buy. That's the difference. So I feel like things that are coming from endgame content should remain bound. Just for the sake of, you're having to grind to get that stuff that you want and learn to play. And then let's see what else. There was another good post that I wanted. Okay, old transmute, so like the Shadow Wolf Greatsword. I feel like this would be a good example. I don't know how much work it would be to go back, but I think someone said obsolete items from past events or mods that are impossible to obtain now, weapon skins, vanity pets, alliance battle horns, things like that. So I agree with this. If you can't get them anymore, like I know I have some items bind to alts for some reason. Reasons completely unknown. Like I never did anything, and then they were bound, and customer service couldn't help me. So it would be nice to be able to unbind those past items or those past transmutes and be able to sell them or use them. I ended up just buying them again for my main, but just to sell them, it would be some profit. So that I could agree with. Let's see. Nova put something. I will let Nova be Nova. And they've always dropped. Okay. This person says that the Elk Tribe weapons have always dropped to bind a character. Now, we also have on Reddit some people commenting. And yes, I'm a moderator, so don't mind these removed comments. I can see them. Sorry, I don't think there's any like secretive comments. Oh no, there are. That content removed by moderator. Really? Well, shoot, I don't want to do that. Not much left to say or even hope. Oh, come on, it is an auto mod. Okay, well, I can't help it. Okay, I can't help it that there's these extra comments. We will read through what's here. So, Toe Superb said, repeat after me, cash grab. Yes, the auto mod removes comments that include the phrase cash grab, because usually it's people being rude, condescending, or just trolling in general. So instead of having to manually find these comments all the time as moderators, we just have the auto mod alert us when there is a comment like that, and then we can either choose to approve it or disapprove it. But it's not that we're trying to limit discussion. It's just because people don't know how to be respectful, and therefore we have to take these kind of measures in order to keep it friendly and safe and helpful for everyone. So, yes, but this person said a cash grab, and I don't want to agree with it, but I do kind of agree with it because lately everything they've been doing is kind of like easy add-ons to the game that bring in easy revenue. So, for example, Echoes of Prophecy. This is, in my opinion, a good example. Minimum content currently. Maybe there will be more to come, but right now it's very minimum content with good rewards that came for a cheap price, and it kind of encourages sales, when it comes to events or, a special companion or something like that. Again, you can buy it with Zen. Minimum effort, decent return or payback. And again, with the Unbind tokens, it's going to be the same. Master crafting right now, well, not right now, but in the future, it's going to be just buy and you got master crafting. Like there is not going to be that chain of quests anymore that normally you would have to do. So I feel like a lot of the game lately is kind of taking, that turn that they're just adding things to the game at this point that are easy to add while getting easy cash in return for it. So I don't want to use the phrase cash grab, but it's definitely, I definitely feel like they're adding content just for the sake of money. And it's weird. It's weird coming from me because normally I'm like really like I'm always backing up Cryptic. And to this day, like I still back up Cryptic, I just the more and more I see some of these changes rolling through, I do feel like it's kind of like money grab. So this person said end chest rings. And Nova coming through this probably will be in related to what we discussed. I'm fearful that some items or gear will just be sold, bought by new casuals just to increase their item level without knowledge of the content they're running. But they can run harder content now because of buying the gear instead of earning it. Thoughts? Just rings shouldn't be a huge issue. Unbinding everything like mini boss farm armor pieces might be a bit much. This would give the 30 to 40k bottleneck people something to grind towards instead of being stuck in a chain farm from hell. Unbinding companion equipment from Sharndar bounties and diamond shards would be a nice idea too, as those are quite tedious to obtain for many players. Diamond shards. I am pretty sure diamond shards are already unbound. We put in diamond. No? Are they under consumables? Okay, yeah. Shattered diamond shards. Yeah, so these aren't even bound to begin with, so I think this person's kind of confused on that one, but I see their point. Another idea, unbinding insignias from dungeon chests and from skill nodes. I could agree with that, actually. So, let's see. Content remove. Demonican says, I do spend money on this game, $20 a month, cheap entertainment if you ask me, but I don't see myself dropping any money on these. I have 10 characters, all 40 to 53k, and see nothing I don't want to trade between them that I haven't already. I think I'm in agreement with you. Cash grab from Wales. And see, I would probably otherwise remove this comment if it didn't say cash grab from Wales. If it just said cash grab, I would approve it. But, I mean, don't call the devs whales, okay? Uh, Selena Thar, trying to process this. This is something I've seen regularly requested over the years. I've always been indifferent to it. First things first, how about fixing all the items you've accidentally bound and never bothered to unbind? This being inclusive of bound status changes up to and including the latest module. That's fixing, not charging. Secondly, I'm worried this is a cop-out for the even more regularly requested quality of life changes for bound status items. Example, okay, so we see a lot of people have inquired and requested a change to items that come bind on pickup that aren't even for their class. How can we fix this and benefit from it simultaneously? Lastly, if done right, this could be a good thing. Big if, probably. So they make a good point. This could benefit, but I feel like just making it a Zen item, like an item you can only buy with Zen and not like with Astral Diamonds as well, I feel like that's going to be a little bit of an issue because that just makes it more pay to win in a way. Steel Thy Flame says, create the problem, sell the solution. And Selena Thar says, honestly, this is sadly spot on. While we see it in every MMO, there's usually a subtlety into it. This is just a smack in the face unless they actually want to listen to feedback and act appropriately on it. Yeah, so what are the pros and cons of this? How long has this video been, first off? I don't want to be... Okay, yeah, we still have a few minutes. I don't want it to be like too long, but I do kind of want to discuss it a little bit. So pros and cons could be that any old items that you have bound that you would like to unbind, this would be a good opportunity to do it. For example, I know I have an armor, and I think it's called Blight armor. Yeah, so I have the epic one of this for Rogue, and it's bound to one of my alts. I don't know how it happened or why. I had it sitting in storage, and then I logged on one day and it was bound to character for some reason, even though it wasn't before. Customer service wouldn't fix it. So this would be something that I would like to be able to unbind and eventually sell. Its value will probably drop a little bit. I don't think too much. Most people haven't been holding on to some random transmute for like the last 5 years, but regardless, it would be something I could sell and profit. So even if, I had to spend 1,000 Zen on, some tokens to unbind it, I mean, 1,000 Zen is 750k compared to getting upwards 17 million, assuming someone buys it for that price, or 14 million if someone bids for that price. It would still be a huge earning. So when it comes to items like that, it could be worth it. For a Coal Ward, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's worth it. For a Coalescent Ward, if you're going to pay 80 tokens for it and spend 800 Zen, you might as well just open up your Celestial Bag of Refining and, save them up. Hope for a 20% off any item coupon and get this for 800 Zen. Because that just seems to make more sense, right? Like, for that price, I mean, you would have to get 20% off items in order to really get that much of a discount from the binding tokens. So I feel like it would not be as useful when it comes to items like Coalescent Wards or Preservation Wards. Potentially. You don't get enough bind to character Preservation Wards outside of like maybe Winterfest for it to be worth it, in my opinion. So, I mean, there's pros and cons. Those would be like the pros. The cons could be, depending what they make available for you to unbind from your character, it could create a lot of people or a lot of players that are pay to win and have, they're true wallet warriors. They have the money and the Astral Diamonds, but they lack the skill. And we're going to have a lot of players entering harder content that don't know what to do, don't know how to run it, don't know how to play their characters. And as well, aside from that, I feel like it could mess up the markets, which could be a problem. You know, having so many new items either returning to the market or making an appearance on the market for the first time. I feel like that's going to cause some imbalances and instability in the economy. Again, this depends what they make unbindable, guess you would say. But yeah, that would be my only concern and stuff. Crappy players entering hard content, or I shouldn't say crappy players, unskilled, inexperienced players entering harder content. So, like wallet warriors, minus the true in game warrior part because they don't know how to play. And gosh, yeah, potential instability in the auction house. That could be a problem as well. Benefit is that, you know, it could create some good earnings for certain players. I don't necessarily know about newer players if they would benefit from this so much because I feel like there isn't too much currently that's worth unbinding. You know, like, yeah, that's just my opinion. Because even if you unbind certain items, like a rib cage, for example, you take the rib cage armor, you unbind it, you sell it on the auction house, that stuff is still going to be very expensive. And I don't know how many people are, you know, really going to be posting it on the auction house. Realistically, most people have it because it's good for their character. Maybe some people will farm it and then, you know, they happen to get an extra one so they sell it. I don't know. I feel like it would still be very expensive and you'd be better off just getting a lure at that price. That's my opinion anyways. So, And then as someone else said, like what if they intentionally start introducing items that are intentionally, you know, bind to account, bind to character, even more so than currently it is. You know, like I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Juma, for example, Juma can give some really cool items. And I've seen people get really rare mounts or really rare companions or expensive companions. And they're bind to account, if I remember right. So they have to use it on their account. They can't sell it. Whereas if you could get some unbind tokens, preferably if they dropped from the lockbox, because I don't see myself really spending Zen on them. But if they were to drop from the lockbox, then, you know, my VIP would kind of cover that to an extent. And I would be able to just stack them up over time, kind of like trade bars or minion tokens, mount upgrade tokens, and use them accordingly once they've stocked up. All right. So, yeah, I don't know, but those are my thoughts on it. Comment below what you think, and I guess we'll see how this plays out. It's not on preview yet, but it should be coming to preview soon by the sounds of it. So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, comment below what you think, and yeah.